Yo, what's up? So this is the second video in the series for the June YouTuber event. I didn't quite get as many views as I would have liked with the last one, but I've never streamed this game before, so, you know, it can't really be helped. So this video in the series is going to be about mannequins and the multiple uses and advantages to doing them, and how to get as much out of having a mannequin without abusing multi-accounting, because I know that once you learn how to use mannequins, it's extremely tempting to just make 20 different accounts like a lot of people do and then start abusing. Well, the issue is one, there's limitations for a lot of different composings. So like, you know, using pancreas, you can only use 10 per day because of multi-accounting. And there's a lot of, you know, sealed stuff, and there's a lot of limitations for, like, the cost for an oracle stone. So even if you were to get, like, 20 in one day, just the amount of time it takes really isn't worth it at that point. So I would like to just do a video for newer to intermediate players on how to properly use mannequins without straight up abusing the game. Because I think that's the way everybody can be happy. So basically what I'm going to be going over primarily today is the dailies and a little bit of these unknown, nonchalant ways to gain some extra items that don't require a lot of level, but it's limited per day. That's more than just running Royal Ground and Black Arena. But first, let them log in. I don't like it how it completely switches out the window to show the next account, like literally reloading the game window, because like if I had anything weird on my desktop, man, everybody would be able to see that. So I just thought about that the last time I was playing. I was like, thank God I don't have anything weird on my laptop, on my desktop. You know, because this is my personal computer I stream on. I don't stream on some you know, some random ass computers just for this. I ain't rich enough for that crap. Alright, claim and leave. Let's get them all in position first. I know, it's kind of a pain in the ass because I gotta switch between all of them. The other thing I don't really like is, the clicking in this game seems to be kind of off after a recent update. I noticed that I have to, like, spam click a couple times sometimes to get a click to register on these UI buttons, but whatever. You know, I imagine it's hard to try to run a game that's supposed to be so multi-purpose with so many people, you know, because you should probably blacklist people now that I'm actually streaming, because he's some bitter guy that has like 5 accounts, so he does the whole multi-accounting thing I'm talking about. Paladin's part of it, 14 is, and basically they get a party of like maybe one primary account that can do some damage, and then what they do is they fill it with 2 or 3 alts, okay? And then they're like, oh, hey, by the way, carry me. And it's like, and then they brag about how, like, the primary account can do, like, 30k damage in Tomb, but it's the only damage dealer in the whole party. So basically, they fill the whole party with an alt, and they find some guy who rather doesn't care or is too dumb to know they're all alts, right? And then what happens is they do one, and if they got like a necromancer on among their alts, maybe it'll do, you know, like 4 million damage a second, and then you might get it by like 1%. And that's like a big might. So you get stuck trying to do a ancient tomb for like an hour to do 2 runs, when if they would just stop using their alts and just like grow their accounts like any normal person without trying to, you know, leech off of other people, it just would be better for everybody. So they like to kind of like just do bullshit like that. Like, this one player is this guy, Paladin, Dark Stuff, Miss Bones, Mr. Bones, Dark Stuff. I mean, he literally has, like, 10 accounts. Not a joke. And so does Kama Sutra on the server. Like I said, one of the reasons that this game is getting so hard for people is because a new content comes out, okay, and then you have, like, 2 or 3 D-bags that aren't willing to spend any real-life money that just make 30 accounts to leech as much free stuff off an event as possible, right? And then the game patches it, and it says, okay, well, this was a stupid idea. Look at these 3 a-holes that are, like, completely abusing the system. And then what happens is the new player can't take advantage of it. So then someone new plays the game, and now everything that they could have done legitimately with one account is all patched. Because a couple people abused it to the extreme. And these people are so selfish and in such denial that they don't understand that they're ruining the game. They're actually ruining the game. They're making it unplayable for people that are newer. Me, I don't care, because even though I don't multi-account, I know every little ins and outs, so I can grow. I actually grow faster than a lot of the multi-accounters, because they spend so much of their time getting like a 2% benefit that if they were to just spend a little bit of money, or they were to just grind really heavy on the hard stuff, right, they would get a lot more content out of it. And but they're not willing to do that because they don't see the problem in the way they play. You know, there's a reason that all the #1 players in this on servers are actual spenders and not people who are abusing free stuff, because you cannot become a #1 or even a top 5 by abusing free stuff. Kama Sutra is a bot account, okay, and then he made all these alts and then started funding it, but originally it wasn't a free account. And I think they switched owners to some guy in Egypt, and now this guy is just doing the same thing. He just made 30 accounts and tries to keep Kama Sutra in the top 5 by mass feeding him free content. Alright, well, that's enough of that ramble. That already lasted like 5 minutes. Alright, so good practice is to make a team. Okay, now this is, like I said, this is going to be moderate to high difficulty. I'm not really sure if you would consider it high difficulty, especially with the way things are now. It's not. I don't know, because of Divine Fire, I think you can do enough damage to clear 420, and without a bunch of gear. So I don't know. We'll see here. But this is and then I did that. Oh god damn it. Search. Sorry. Okay, so the quickest one is definitely Royal Ground, in my opinion. So you invite your team, you get your main damage dealer, Eudemons out. For me, that is a wad and 2 Warrior Lanterns. I know they had 2 events where they were giving out free Wukongs, but I wasn't playing. I go through very long periods of time where I quit the game, mostly out of frustration that there's too many cheap players that, you know. I remember a really good example of why I quit was because of a player called Akoji. Okay, I was trying to get Pancreas, and so they used to have the old hero packs, and so I would log in and I would get my 4 hero packs, and I was like, you know, this is good. Like, after a couple months of this, I'll probably be able to have like 150 star. And not even 2 weeks later, okay, Akoji would have this mob of, I kid you not, maybe 100 accounts. Plus 6 mannequins on each account, okay? Like, I'm not exaggerating here. And you would see these mobs, and he would be active all day trading amongst his mannequins for the free Pancreas shards, okay? And then he would compose literally all day. Well, he had a rank 98. Uh, it's like the Lanner version for necromancers. I can't remember. A jewel. Okay, and in literally 6 days, he got it from like I think it was like 96 or 98 stars, if I remember correctly, to 150, like 157, something like that. I mean, that's ridiculous. Okay, and then the first patch they made was to get rid of that pack, and then they downgraded it for this hero pack. So I didn't get to. I mean, literally, like not even a week before someone abused it so bad that they removed it. So I was like, okay, at least I have a couple left over that I can use. Screw it, I'll just compose these. Well, then they had all these events that were for Pancreas, and he decided that he was still going to use those 100 accounts, but he would just do the 100 accounts for the events, but not quite that many. And he would go all day on his accounts, and he would farm the event till it was dry. And so then, after that event was done, they made a limitation to where you could only use 10 pancreases per day. And I know he wasn't the only one doing that, but he specifically did it so bad that he definitely was within the top 5 people that caused them to make that patch, okay? And the guy was in the top 15 on the server, and he spent no money. He's a guy from the Philippines, and he just built his character completely free, but through abuse, basically. Oh man, I got a really low one because I was busy talking. It's okay, I can still get to 20 though. And so they ended up patching that. And I'm like, okay, this is so stupid. Like, at least I can do, my own thing, and it doesn't really matter. Well, then, in order to help, I don't know what Eudemons was thinking, but they made this Thanksgiving event, this Halloween event, like right after. And I think their mindset was, we even have a lot of people make multi-accounting, so we can solve this problem by having it to where we have voting events, to where you'll have these parades or you'll have these towers, and the loot that drops from them is by a server vote. So that way it'll be fair, right? No, it's not fair when one person makes 100 plus accounts, right? All with 5 mannequins. So then what he would do is he would sit outside the parade thing, and he would sit there and he'd vote on Oracle Stones, because he'd already gotten all of his pets to almost 200 star through abuse. And then all of the Halloween events and the Christmas events were all Oracle Stones. So then I couldn't get any pancreases. There's no way to get free ones without spending money. I spent I spent like a $30 EP pack, and I wasn't even able to remotely catch up to where he was. I spent $30 and I got 2 battle power for it. And I'm like, okay, well, this is ridiculous. This guy spent no money, abused a bunch of accounts, and here he is with 200 star pets. So I was fuming, and I just quit. I just quit. I was like, this is bullshit. Why do I want to play a game and spend money on it when some guy can abuse the system, and then when he gets caught abusing the system, they fix it, but they don't punish him for it. They just punish literally everyone else that now can't do what he was doing to catch up. So this is why people like Kamasutra and people like Miss Bones and people like Akoji are ruining the game. And a lot of people blame, for Las Vegas server, people try to blame Goro 2 for ruining the game. But Goro 2 just inflated the market too much. So he made it to where some items are virtually useless, but he's not the reason that people don't feel like playing this game anymore. People don't feel like playing the game because there's so much stuff to cripple new players, but yet at the same time absolutely reward the first people to abuse the system. They don't get punished at all for it. And I really think, especially when these people really don't have a history of spending money, I think the game should really start considering weekly resets on those people. They should look at how much they've gained, and they should look at what players the Eudemons were traded on, and if they were traded on a bunch of accounts that were outside of their account, they should remove all of the progress. I think that would be fair. If you're gonna stop a mechanic because someone's abuse, but yet not punish the abuser, the only person who's getting punished for it are the other players that had nothing to do with it. So that's why I'm very, very adamant about, if you're going to use mannequins to gain an advantage in this game, which is completely in the rules, don't make multi-accounts, okay? There's no ban for making multi-accounts. But see, the whole purpose behind that is they don't want to, there's purposes. Like, for example, in Family Wars and for Legions, if you want to have other accounts so you can experiment or go on another server, blah, 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 that's not associated with your name, that's completely okay. But I think people misconstrued that the lack of a rule means that something is okay. I know I'm getting really extreme here, but remember, up until the 90s, in some countries, even now, there's some countries, there's no rule against having a 12-year-old bride, right? But does that make it okay morally, Especially in most countries? No, it doesn't. So just because you can get away with something doesn't mean it's okay to do. Especially if you do get punished, especially if it's causing other people to get punished from it, Like I said, these people are not directly getting punished, but they're causing a whole bunch of people on a server to get nerfed, to have things that happen to them that basically nerf their account. And so that means if that's what they're doing, that's not what it was intended. That's not how it was intended to be done. Yeah, I didn't want to make this video because I knew I was going to rant like this, but that guy set me off by trying to say that I suck, especially since he is a multi-accounter. He tries to use other people to grow his own alts, and then basically when you call him out for what he does, he shows his teeth and acts like a complete child and just sits there and insults you for days and days and days, calling you a noob. But dude, if everyone else is such a noob, why do you need everybody else to carry your alts for you? I've never seen anyone but him and Nyack try to slip their alts into a team. No one else does it except those two. And yet, because they have so many accounts, it makes it seem like their opinion's large. And really, it's just the opinion of two people that are trying to shove it down your throat by making you think it's valid by mass, but it's not. It's just the same person. Oh man, yeah, I'm pretty passionate about this game because I think this game, it's not the same type of toxic as a game like Dota, but you have these toxic players that really stick out, and it really impacts Eudemons' ability to get new players. Because really, you have to scale a game in a consistent way to where new content that's old is so easy to get for new players that they don't get left behind, but yet not so easy to where literally all you have to do is make an account. Does that make any sense? Like, it should take a 10th the amount of time of grinding as it did to get the original thing. So this way, if someone really wants to make a bunch of accounts and a bunch of mannequins to go get some free stuff once it's been normalized, it should take them a week per mannequin, per character to get. It should not take a button press, And it's just sad to see that people do it so often. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's not many people that do it, and I don't want to make it seem like there are. But by the way, if you're one of the viewers that pops up on here, feel free to leave a message. I have 2 monitors, so I can, like a professional streamer, so I can look over any comments that are put, or any chats. I don't know really how to put it. Yeah, I put my latency on low, so it should be kind of around the time that I'm playing that I should see what's going on. Yeah. Perhaps making me sleepy. Well, I've already been live for 20 minutes, man. Alright, well, I'm going to try to get these 2 dailies out of the way, and then plus maybe 10 minutes to show the Imperial Crystal. And then, I mean, I think Chaos Sphere and the other stuff is pretty common knowledge. Sorry, that was my wife coming home. I can't, if you heard that in the background, guys. Oh, well, I literally ran out of SP as soon as I finished. That's kind of funny. Alright. So, yeah, basically, this is more... having the standard amount of mannequins per account is more than enough to be able to get enough growth to where it's impactful. And you don't need to go around and make 20 accounts. That's to summarize what my rant has been about. If you're looking to get as much free growth as possible, then mannequins aren't really going to benefit you at all. It would actually just be more beneficial to just have one primary account that's very strong, which you can do Demon Hell instances in dungeons, Karya, the Raphael's Tomb, I can't remember, Felix Shrine, excuse me. And things like that, because those give Saint XO shards, they get Genesis stones, and you only need one person for that. And honestly, the bar has been dropped so low to do that kind of stuff because of Divine Fire that you don't even need to be 3 socket and full bling bling to do that stuff anymore. So I think it's a very misleading conception that having mannequins is really even important. Like, the only reason I use mannequins at this stage of gameplay is simply for Oracle Stones and Uni 6 stars from the event shops. So right now, I need to buy 3 of these, and then I finish the upgrade for a sword. And then these, I'm just going to keep using until my Warrior Lantern requires an upgrade. And then once it's at 12-star composing, I'm probably just going to move to the next one, and blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, let's do Dark Arena, Black Arena, excuse me. And then, let's invite the team in, my mannequins. I do go through the extra time of doing, treasure hunt, because it is like an extra 500 to 600 eternal crystals, which, I mean, frankly, that's a whole extra uni 6 star. So I definitely do that. Alright, wait a minute. And then the best place to put them in Black Arena is in that corner right there. As long as you're standing middle with your main, none of the monsters should attack them. Sometimes randomly one will, but it's okay. They're just mannequins. If they die, it's not a big deal. Alright. So, for my strength level, this first one's pretty easy. And if you're not strong enough to solo this, okay, then what I would definitely recommend you do is you just partner up with one other person, okay? And then you have you have one mannequin each. And then what you do is you swap the mannequins between the 2 people. So you can do these more than once per day, okay? But you can only collect the rewards once per day. So that means basically you could do this 10 times for every mannequin that you have. Or the other person's mannequin, times 5. And you'd be fine. Okay. So yeah, don't feel like you have to do all of it at once, especially if you're a weaker account. Get a friend to help you, and you'll be fine. Because you know, having an ult on this and asking a friend to help you when you're not very strong is a lot different than Ancient Tomb, because Ancient Tomb has a limit. You can only do it once per day. Twice per day. Even if you don't damage the enemy and they finish, okay, and you don't get a reward, it doesn't matter. That's still 1 out of your 2 chances. So it's very different, because if you get one chance out of the way, you only have 1 chance left. And so if you have a team that's really, really weak to begin with, and then they lose a member because they're trying to fill up mannequins, and then because of that disconnect, you guys can't do a second time, guess what? You're screwed that day. You've only been able to do it once, and just too bad for you. You know, and so those players don't give a shit about that. They're only thinking about themselves to begin with. So, you know, you have to be careful with Ancient Tomb, but with Royal Ground and Black Arena, it really doesn't matter. I usually wait for my win world to finish, so that's why I told you Black Arena takes me a lot longer than Royal Ground, because I'm waiting for an ability to refresh. It's annoying. Yeah, it's not my favorite one to do by far. But yeah, I think I'm really happy for this today, because I'm finally gonna get that extra damage on the sword that I've been waiting for. All thanks to the mannequin system, you know, and no abuse was done. So, definitely another good time for you to use mannequins is during events, because there are sometimes a limit to how many times you can do a particular event with one character, but a character is per mannequin, not per account. So, you know, again, that's why it's so tempting for people to abuse mannequins. But the problem is when you abuse mannequins, they will catch on to you, and they will figure out a way to fix it, and then you're hurting the entire community just because you wanted to be a little bit greedy. And I don't think that's okay, because a game thrives off the people that spend money and off the amount of new people that play it. If you're endgame and you don't feel like you need to spend EP anymore because you've gotten where you want, you've gotten your free content through abusing the system, you're a leech on the game now. You're not the player that the game wants. So, you know, is everybody going to be happy when they're all 3,000 plus BP from stealing on free events, but then there's an announcement on the website that they're shutting the server down because now there's no more new players spending money, you know? So people got to think about that stuff before they just blatantly decide to do things. It's the same thing as breaking the law, right? You want to steal a TV from somebody, you're not getting hurt from that action. Someone else is, and you're trying to benefit from that. So it's the same thing as being a criminal, in my opinion. These people are basically server criminals, I guess, if you really want to say it bluntly. And they don't care, just like that guy stealing your TV doesn't think he should be punished. Oh man, I'm just doing what I gotta do. You know, it's stupid logic, really is. Alright, I'm almost done. And then I'm going to show you guys the Imperial Crystal thing, which should only take about a minute, because I'm just going to show you where to buy them and basically what it does, not how to do it, because that takes literally 4 hours. So it's quite a while. But there's a lot of benefit to doing it, so I'll show that quick. And then that'll be the wrap up for this 30 to 40 minute stream, I guess. Alright, here we go. Yeah, this guy does HP damage, so shit. You gotta be careful. You can die from the hatched egg things. They do like a crap load of HP based damage, so it's best to do an AOE to kill the blood eggs. And if they're too far away to hit with your ability, it's not a big problem, because they're not close enough to get triggered to attack you anyways, so it works out in the end. Alright, and he's under 15% health, so I'm just going to finish him with this. Yeah. And then you grab each chest, which obviously if you're watching this and you can solo this, then you're already aware of this. But this is just to help new to intermediate players figure out what a good objective is for keeping mannequins. You know, because when I was new, I didn't have any mannequins. I didn't make my first mannequins until like 2 years ago, and I've been playing this game for almost 14 years. So yeah, I mean, it really puts it in perspective. Like, newer players don't always find a use to make mannequins if they're really weak still. So I would definitely say, even if you're like level 50, which I think is the minimum, go ahead and start making mannequins. And get them to like level 130, so you can get some of your benefits from leveling up. Because that's always nice too. And then just run dailies. Oh, you can actually see that on stream. That's one of the bugs in this game. I think it's kind of funny. Sometimes the monsters, you see, they don't interact. You can't damage them, but their hitbox and their sprite is still up. Well, their mesh. Alright, mark out. Yeah. And then I'm going to compose the sword, show you guys me getting the +9 on it from Divine, and then I'm going to show you the Imperial Crystal thing. Because I only need 3s, and I think I have enough of that. Oh well, unlucky. Alright. Buy one. Put it here. I just need 3 that have enough. No, she's got enough. Put her here. And then he's got enough. There we go. Okay. Now I take my main account. I take my sword. And then I trade Zully. And then I just go down the list. Come on. I'm excited. I mean, I've been doing this for a while, actually, so I'm pretty excited to finally have this over with. Oh, I forgot the trade. Yeah, don't ask me why I made a bunch of, Necros. I wasn't honestly familiar with how important it was, so here we go. It is now maxed. So now I'm going to spend most of my money on Universal 6 stars every day after doing the treasure hunt stuff. Because I need to get my damage dealers higher damage. Okay, and then I'm going to show you the next thing it's good to do on mannequins. Okay. And it's right over here. It's not too far. Actually, I should just get them out. I'm gonna ride Maki, which is the name of my wife. I'm riding my wife, I guess. All right. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So right here, you have this Imperial Crystal. Okay. And basically, it is once per day, or it might be more than once. Go ahead and experiment yourself. It doesn't hurt to buy more than one. They're so cheap. You right-click it to unseal, and it requires an Eudemons crystal or money. Okay. So right now, I need an Eudemons crystal.